sacred educator, living library, royal guide. Your curation of minds have rippled waves far and wide. Your instruction strikes ignorance from the front line, turning lost minds divine. Your gentle humor could light the darkest night with punchlines that could end the roughest fight. Cultural protector, Nubian priest, great pharaoh. If knowledge is worth more than gold, you are the richest indeed. If kindness has real value, you are the real MVP. Father of a community and a beautiful, precious seed. Brother for the struggle and educational revolutionary. Mansa Mike, Baba Williams, Doc. We release you to the ancestors. May your legacy vibrate throughout the universe forever.
I'm Dr. Williams here at Cleveland State University, and we're here to talk about our Jazz Heritage event that we're having Sunday, November 11th at 5 p.m. here at Cleveland State University. We will have our Jazz Heritage Orchestra and also right in
Jesus promised me a home over there. No more sickness, sorrow, pain, or care. He promised, oh, me a home over there. Jesus, he promised me a home over there. Jesus promised me a home over there. No more sickness or sorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I met Dr. Williams when I was about 18 or 19 years old. And I had a friend who knew someone that worked in the Black Studies program. We came to the Cultural Center just to hang out, and I noticed that there were people on staff who seemed like they were having a lot of fun working. That's your job? I want to do that. I should do that because I've been helping out for free. So I found out, like, how do you sign up for this? And I found out how to sign up. I signed up. I became a student worker in the Cultural Center. I started helping Dr. Williams coordinate conferences and created a poetry club, which was part of his assignment to us. He made sure that everyone took pride in their job and had some skills when they left that would ensure them a great future in whatever careers they chose.
I met Doc 2013 when I took an intro to Black Studies with him. Following that class, he told me to come to the Black Studies department, and I met him both inside the classroom and also outside the classroom. Professional way and also in a personal way.
Met Dr. Williams, I believe it was March 2014. I had come into the Black Studies because of a mutual friend. Dr. Williams happened to approach me and say, "Hello, good sir, how are you today? You interested in a major and a minor in the Black Studies?" I said, I had to look at my schedule, see how to work some things well, look at the political dynamic and whatnot. Doc said, okay, that's a fine response, but you should look to get a major and minor in Black Studies. Came in like a week later, got a minor in Black Studies. Came back later fall, got a major in Black Studies. And so, but yeah, that's how I met Dr.
All right, I met Dr. Williams in the fall of 2015 because I came here and needed a job in the Black Studies, so we had to work some job.
Well, I met him by happenstance. I was on my way to class, and his former secretary, Ms. Pat Big Mall Washington, had flagged me down and was like, "You're new here, come in here right now." So I came to the Black Studies Department with my, at the time, 1-year-old daughter, Aaliyah, and I met Dr. Williams. He asked me what I was doing there, and I said I was a student. He said, "What were you majoring in?" And at the time, I was a nursing student. So, you know, he's opened the center to me. He said that I can study there, I can dialogue there. I was even able to bring my kids there. It was very family oriented, and that's what really attracted me to the Black Studies Department and Dr. Williams.
Man, Dr. Williams, it was my first year right outside of Black Studies, sitting down, we debating about Tupac and Biggie. And here comes Dr. Williams down the hallway. You know, he had his African sweaters on and stuff like that. At that time, like Gabby, like knew him, me and Xavier didn't. And you know, we were asking him, I think somehow we got on the subject of Marcus Garvey, Africans, and I think I asked him, you know, so the black people situation we saw, and we just got to move back to Africa. He said that black people can't go back to Africa now because, you know, we've been in America for so long. And just started breaking it down that you could really see the intelligence that Dr. Williams had, that he possessed.
The hip hop workshop had come through on about September of 2012. We came through with somebody else, and they were just like they had maybe a grant to do a program, and a couple of issues came up on whether we should do a hip hop workshop or whether we could continue. They were concerned if we wore our Black on Black Crime Incorporated t-shirts, we might get them in trouble. So we were about to leave. And I met Doc because, well, Professor Williams, Dr. Williams, around, I'll say, February of 2013, Brother Kahara first said, "That's not how it works at this school." Silver B. Richards said, "That's not how it works at this school." And so Brother Kahara came back and said, "You can do the hip hop workshop through the Panther Education Committee alongside the Black Studies Department." And at the first workshop, I met Doc Williams. He came through, he stopped to see what was going on, and he spoke. I don't think he intended on speaking, but I remember asking him to speak. And he was talking about that Cleveland State University is for everybody.
You know, actually, I first met him when I was working in social work, because as you know, he was a professional social worker, and so he would come over there sometimes, and, you know, I got acquainted with him, and even the brief interactions that I had with him over there, you know, just gave me a certain impression of how nice and how friendly he was. I mean, at that time, I never imagined that I would end up working with him, but it just, you know, helped me to see that, you know, there was someone else on campus that, you know, not only looked like me, but also could, you know, be a source of inspiration for just how you interact with other people on campus.
I think I met Dr. Michael Williams in it had to be like 2005 at the Jazz Heritage Orchestra event. And I met him through my sister, and he would always invite us to come to the orchestra. That's how we met. And then years went by, he would, you know, come over to all our functions, our family events, family reunions, barbecues, cookouts, weddings, anniversaries, whatever. So we became very good friends.
I met Dr. Williams when I was working in parking and transportation services at Cleveland State University. I did parking reservations for like the departments on the campus, and I would often talk to Prester, Doc, I would actually like see him around. I would just see him talking to students all the time. I didn't really know him, but he would just always just had a crowd of students with him. And one day, you know, he came in because there was he was having problems with a request at parking. And, you know, he came in and we started talking. And Doc, in typical fashion, like, we started talking about something completely different, something way deeper than, you know, this transaction. I came over to Black Studies. He was like, man, you need a job? Like, come over here, man. Like, I'll look out for you, you know. Then the next week, I was like, you know, I was in Black Studies, you know, and my life was never the same.
One of the things that we have to take into consideration that Martin Luther King was not the movement. He was part of a movement. And this has been going on since 1619, when the first African was brought here into service. The Africans had always been fighting for their freedom. And we can't confuse the fact that Martin Luther King was a flashpoint, a magnificent flashpoint in that battle for civil rights. But you have to think about if your grandfather had not stood up, if your grandmother had not stood up, if your great-grandmother had not stood up. These are people who stood up before King stood up. And so King became that symbol of what was going on the larger movement. And so we always got to keep in mind that this is why I say don't wait for the next king. I think about my grandfather who stood up in Youngstown, Ohio, and became a very prominent person who helped a lot of black people get jobs, in a lot of discrimination and all those type of things. And I asked him, why, Grandpa, you stand up so much? And he said, because I got tired of sitting down in Alabama. And so he stood up in Youngstown. So we have to begin to think about those heroes and sheroes that came right in our immediate family. Just amazing civil rights stories right in their own families if you take the time to learn.
It's like when my grandmother first got sick and nobody knew what was going on with her, but he was so stressed out, and we was in the backyard of her house and we was trying to like convince her to go to the hospital, and he told me like, come here. I went over where he was at, and then he hugged me and he broke down, and I never seen him cry. The most I ever seen my father was mad. I never seen him cry, never seen him act like that. Like, and it stuck out to me. And it showed me that he really was hurt and he was really concerned about his mom. And I never seen him act like that.
Doc was family. There's no other way to explain it, but he always made sure that he was there for everyone. Made sure they were okay. If they had a certain circumstance in their life, he talked through it, but he always had a sense of humor that he would throw into it so that it can calm down their nerves, their situation, and it won't seem as bad. I knew that he was very loving. He's a really amazing person.
He was like my CSU dad. He kept tabs on me. He made sure when I went to class. Me having children was not an excuse to miss class. It was like, oh, you have your kids here? Oh, leave them here at the center so you can go to class. You don't have an excuse. He just encouraged me to finish school. It was a very positive setting because I was able to bring my other children and they got to see us dialogue, get into it, study, and he was able to be my mentor, my counselor. He was also my professor at one point, so he was all in all a great person. And you know, it just feels strange that he's not here anymore.
He was just amazing. Just the way he engaged people, you know, that he wasn't afraid to engage people. His main concern was you, you know. He just made so many people feel like they were the most important person in the world to him, you know.
My relationship with him was a little bit, you know, different because, you know, it's a staff relationship, and anyone who has worked under some unpleasant supervisors in the past knows how valuable it can be to finally work with someone who you can share laughs with, who you can open up to, who's friendly, who's helpful, who's understanding. And those are the things that I remember about Dr. Williams and working under him. I can definitely say, without a doubt, he was certainly one of the best supervisors I ever had.
To me, like, Doc was just a friend. You know, he's like an older friend that you could just go to for anything, like even beyond just school.
He was just a genuine person. Like, he wasn't a person that had to put on a facade or whatnot. He was just a humble person, genuine. That was just the type of person that Dr. Williams was, and he came at things from a unique angle that was personal to himself, but also from an angle that he could relate to other people. So he had a type of expressiveness and uniqueness about himself that I haven't encountered really from many other men.
He was a giver. I mean, when I say that, I mean in all aspects. You know, giver of his time, his energy, his knowledge, his wisdom, his self, his resources. And I think he was a genuine person, a really genuine person.
He had this saying where he said, at the end of the day, you know, that's just something you always say. You knew he was about to wrap up some knowledge when he said that phrase, at the end of the day.
Dr. Williams is a leader to me. Past and present, he motivates us to be more, do more. I got closer to my father when I was about 18, 19, around the same time I met Dr. Williams, but in that time, up until now, he's been more of an active presence in my life than any man I've ever known.
Personally for me, Doc was a man of integrity and a person that was always going to help bridge our community back together through simple conversations and opening up his ears to listen to us.
He gave me marriage advice. Even before I got married, he gave me all these like relationship values of life and stuff like that. We talked about religion and advice about, like, you know, critics. You know, when I came into Islam, how to deal with like critics and stuff like that. Talked about school, how to handle professors, how to get through, you know, your schoolwork. Make sure you stay on the straight path of finishing, getting to your goal. You know, like just everything and beyond. Like, Doc was a friend. Like, he was willing to help you out no matter what it was.
It's not one word I could use to describe Dr. Williams. It's just so many. He has so many titles. You know, we all know he was a father and a mentor and an encourager and an instructor and, you know, a teacher. And he had just a way with people.
He was just a very humble man. Like, you know, when you talk about like the meek shall inherit the earth, like Dr. Williams was the meek. He would be the one who would inherit the earth. He was that type of person. So he was just a very down-to-earth, very good man, a very reserved man.
But to me, Dr. Williams was the person who solidified my views as an African American. He made me make sure that I appreciated the blackness inside of me.
A lot of people say that's Doc's daughter whenever they saw me, and it gave me so much joy because I'd never experienced that feeling before. Someone looking after you, giving you the type of advice that you need to grow, and I always knew he would protect me.
Who was your father?
A legend. hero. He really inspired me to do a lot of this stuff. And he kept my head on straight. And like, I could talk to my dad about anything without him judging me or without him like getting mad and stuff like that. Like, I could always talk to him about what was going on with me. And yeah, he was just my inspiration, I guess.
And I dedicated my life to service as a result of what King actually said. So I've been blessed, as the pastor said, to obtain a bachelor's degree, a high school diploma, a master's degree, 3 master's degrees, and a Ph.D. But all of those degrees are given to the community. And give you an example, my high school degree, I gave to my grandfather. Because my grandfather and grandmother quit school in the 4th grade. They had 13 children. They were married when they were 13 and 14. And they stayed together for 60-some years. I gave my college degree to my father because he quit college to take care of us when he was in school. And my PhD I give to the community because that's what we work for. So it's not about the money, it's not about all those other types of things that you get. It's about how you serve other people and serve other individuals. And so if we're going to make things better, as King says, we have to make sacrifice. If you're not willing to make sacrifice, then you can't eat it when the crops are raised and the crops when the food is prepared. It should not be prepared to eat. And so we have to make sacrifices. And I challenge the young people in this audience, what sacrifice are you willing to make things better? It's not enough to bitch and complain about things. What are you willing to do? And so, and I want the final thing I'll say is stop looking for the next Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. You are that. Who was Malcolm looking to? Who was Martin looking for? You have that potential to wait, to do those type of things. And that's why we can't wait, because you are the next King, you are the next Malcolm. One of the things we do with Jazz Heritage Orchestra, it was formed in 1988 under the direction of Dr. Howard Mims, who's the late former director of Black Studies. And the goal was to put together a group of really accomplished musicians to further jazz, the history of jazz. Not only further, but also teach young children and young adults the importance of jazz in the culture of African Americans. I want to thank a number of people for making this event happen. First, we always have to thank Jazz Heritage Orchestra. We are the only Black Studies program in the country that has a 17-piece big band professional orchestra. We are really excited about that. We are one of the 4 sites that was selected by Whit Marcellus for this jazz at Lincoln Center. And it was the brainchild of Dr. Howard Mims, my predecessor.
What do you think is, what's the most rewarding part of doing all this?
I think for me, it's watching our musicians work with the younger kids and watching them hone their craft, and then developing the relationships between, a professional relationship between them and the artists. So they know these guys. When Dr. Mims, I met Dr. Mims and he asked me about taking over Black Studies or considering that the task of Black Studies, little did I know that I could never attempt to fill his shoes. So I don't even try to fill his shoes. I just have my own shoes as it relates to, he has some very big shoes.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created. I have a dream that one day on the radio will join.
Every meeting that I went to or was able to attend, he was always talking about keeping the Black Studies department intact. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. That man would get up there and say, hey, I like the multicultural department and respect it, but you want to make sure that we do something and we don't let them take down and take out the Black Studies department. Advisory board, it caused me to come through, meet people like Sister Renee in the office. She's always been there. As a matter of fact, when we would have our weekend workshops or being a part of that, it caused me to want to attend some Friday things that were going on, like the Speak Up Poetry, which is another element to me of hip hop, because a griot, a poet, that's what an MC is.
Speak Up Poetry, yeah. It had been a while, like, you know, Dr. Williams, he had got me involved in like the Black Student Union and, you know, had me kind of getting involved with events on campus. And it was amazing, you know. And one day I'm chilling in the office, you know, and a young lady, Miss Janice, she invites me to a workshop. We kind of get to discussing and we get to reciting poems to each other. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can get with this, you know. Takaya Faya, she was the president at the time, you know. And within a year, you know, I had become the president. You know, we were taking trips all over the U.S., doing these amazing slams with these world-class poets. And now, you know, Carol Latson, he's the president, you know, and I'm working behind the scenes as a treasurer, you know, in a host of events. And it's just been an amazing experience. I've met so many amazing people. I've taken so many amazing journeys. And it's all from meeting this amazing man, Dr. Williams.
I asked him about, you know, how is Black Studies like compared to the African Center over in Kent, 'cause that's where I came from. And then, you know, he broke down on the history of Black Studies. That he used his usual catchphrase that I think he get every student win. And he talked about the importance of Black Studies. And he said, you know, Dr. Williams, you know, I tell my students all the time, you know, you gotta get that degree in Black Studies, because you question that degree, but you don't question that degree in White Studies. And at the time I took this course, I was still studying, I'm like, dang, like Dr. Williams is right.
Right.
And then I think I asked him about poetry. I said, well, you know, what poetry events y'all got around here? Y'all don't have poetry. He said, Speak Up, the very first Friday of the month. Gave me a flyer, and ever since then, been that Speak Up, became the president.
Sounds of frustration as mother frantically dumps her purse on the living room floor. She is late for work. Selling stamps these days is harder than a job. Baby's diapers bought on the black market as food stamps are exchanged like crack. She is a pusher, better yet, a dealer.
An open, not really, but sort of letter to the term, Black people don't swim. I suppose the next thing out of the mouth should be, but Mexicans do, with very little regard to the fact that Mexico is connected by land to the United States. And the term wetback refers to a person that can swim across the entire Gulf of Mexico in a backstroke. No one can swim across the entire Gulf of Mexico in a backstroke without sufficient rest, equipment, a place to rest, some food, a good after, and if they could, Michael Phelps be damned to forever bronze.
What we will do is preserve the culture in the Howard A. Mims Cultural Center, keep it full of smiles, intellectual discussions, and jazz. We will continue to unite each other.
Continue to be happy, you know, continue to converse with each other and building back our community. He definitely spoke about the activities that were going on in the community and then bringing those resources back to the students to have a collaboration.
Unity. That's it, unity. And realizing that he didn't stop. I mean, for a man to have lost parents and all that in the same year and to deal with so many different things and still come through and take this department and believe in it that way, then if you're a student or a teacher or somebody who's in a position around you, have that same feeling and have that same heart.
You know, like, I just go back to that saying that he always said, you know, black studies is important. You know, you question that, but you don't question white studies. I think the thing that we can do to keep his legacy alive is, one, is to tell like new incoming freshmen black students about black studies. Even some black students that go here that haven't been in black studies. Tell them about it, tell them the history of black studies, tell them the history of Dr. Williams and what his mission was and the things that he did, not just for black students, but you know, Dr. Williams did stuff for all students.
Be an inspiration to someone else. Be selfless in our efforts to make this community a better place for everyone.
Continue his work. So, I mean, there were those who knew Doc very closely. There's some who may have known him a little less, but whatever the case, I mean, you continue his work. I mean, the man was a scholar, the man was a social worker, the man was, I mean, he was an activist, he was many different things, revolutionary. So continue the work that Dr. Williams had worked so hard for those of us who engage in social interactions and work to help people in the social environment.
By keeping ourselves conscious and informed of ourselves. One thing he taught me was how to educate myself and how to be a self-made person. And it's not enough for an institution to educate you. You have to learn how to educate yourself and educate others. When you figure out something or you learn something new, educate the future generations.
One of the things that Doc always embodied was don't be afraid to question, you know. Just because somebody has different views, then you don't be afraid to question certain things, you know, because questions lead to dialogue.
If we can continue to have those conversations and not just the superficial level, but really get into the emotional side of things and expressing ourselves like he did with everyone that came and walked into the office.
Dr. Williams was a person who loved to give. He loved to give knowledge. He didn't care about material things. So for us, I think we need to just embrace that spirit of reciprocity, and I think we'll be okay.
Well, what we can do is continue it through the things he started as far as the curriculum here at Cleveland State. And we can make sure that that seed he planted in us, as far as the disciplines in black studies, that will be carried on.
Well, one of the things that I know is he wanted to see the Black Studies program not only survive but thrive. He wanted more students in the program. He wanted more students coming over to the center. And so I think just continuing on to try to get more students involved, trying to get students not just taking the classes because they're required, not just taking them as electives, but taking them because they really do want to learn more about the types of things that Dr. Williams was interested in as the Director of Black Studies.
He opened dialogue to learn about people, you know, to reach into their hearts, you know, and that's part of his legacy that we got to keep on. Doc was brave, you know, he embraced all people, he engaged all people, he challenged all people, you know. Regardless of your status, he would challenge you in a second.
You know, you go home, you study, learn about yourself, learn about your people, learn about your culture, everything that's out there that's been taken from you. And you regain all that knowledge. And once you get that knowledge, what you do is you continue to teach, whether it's old, whether it's young. And when you do that, you always plant the seed. That's what Dr. Williams did. He always planted the seed.
And to realize like our potential to reach the next step. He laid a foundation for us, and now we have to carry on his legacy to build on that time, on top of that foundation.
And that one day we may even see not only a bachelor's of study for the black culture, but also a master's of studies here at Cleveland State. I think that's how we could keep his legacy going.
I'm going to keep talking to Doc as long as I can talk. I do it all the time. And I'm going to keep asking him for advice.
Just helping more students to become more aware, more involved, more active, not just in the academic side, but also in some of the cultural programs and just coming to the center to see what's going on. I think that if he was still here, that's what he would ultimately want us to do. And that's what would ultimately bring him more joy, just seeing that more and more students are taking Black Studies more seriously.
So you continue his legacy by just keeping in mind all the things that Doc told you, and you go out and take that knowledge and do something with it. So I think that that's the best way you can continue his legacy, is to water that seed that he planted in our brain.
You planted some really great seeds, Doc, so you don't have to worry. And I could just say personally, all the times I wanted to quit, the encouragement that you gave me, you gave to many. And so I know that you are, you're not with us now, but we feel your spirit.
He motivated me to stay strong in my faith when I wavered. So I say he saved my life in so many ways.
I believe in myself as much as you believe in me. And I hope and I know that I will succeed at being that hope in a community that you always wanted me to be.
Dr. Williams, I'm the president of the Black Student Union. I want to make sure I do this well.
Great job, Dr. Williams. Great job.
When my pops died, he was there for me, you know. He was right there, man. We miss you. I miss you, man. You changed my life. And that's on everything I love. You changed my life, man.
Just keep on making Black Studies Black. Like, make it just keep it what it's supposed to be. Just keep it what it's supposed to be. Keep everybody in good spirits when they come in here. Greet everybody. And just keep the feeling of being a family in here. Like, you walk into another, area in Cleveland State, and you'll feel like you the outcast when you walk in there. But when you walk in here, it's all love, it's all good vibes, and I just wanted to keep being like that. Thank you to Black Studies for being so supportive of not only me, but my family through everything. Like, when my grandmother got sick, y'all was checking on us. When my grandfather got sick unexpectedly, y'all was checking on us. And then with my father passing, y'all have checked on me, and not only me, but my whole family. Y'all have reached out, y'all made sure we was okay. It was so many people at the funeral, so many people at the cemetery. And still to this day, I still get people calling me every day, asking me how I am, how I've been, how's school, checking on me, asking me if I need anything. And it really means a lot that y'all been supporting me, because I've been here since I was like a baby. So y'all seen me grow up, and just want to say thank y'all for just sticking around, being a second family.
If I can do my duty as a good Christian ought, if I can bring back beauty to a world abroad, if I can spread love's message that the Master taught, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. My living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody